Hi again, my name is Mariah Moss. I'm currently an on-campus student here at BYU Idaho. This is my third semester here on campus, but this is only my first semester studying marriage and family studies. For the sake of this career profile, I decided to study the career of a children's counselor. Most specifically, I decided to study a job that was posted on a job board. It was available in Fairfax County, Virginia. The government was looking for a children's counselor to work in a government community center. I had no personal contacts affiliated with this career. I just found it online as I was browsing different occupations that were available. The working environment, obviously you'd be working under a large organization, the government. While it's technically a large organization, there's definitely a lot of personal independency, especially as a counselor. A lot of the work that you do is between patient and counselor. And although there is a lot of personal independence, counselors are also required to work with supervisors and other coworkers frequently to receive feedback or report progress. Work for this specific organization was required to be full-time, but this isn't to speak for all counselors. There are a lot of other job opportunities as a children's counselor where you can choose to work part-time. Flexibility is definitely required, especially for this job specifically. They were looking for people that could work evenings, weekends, holidays, and I assume that this is because they're working with children who are enrolled in school, so they wouldn't want to have to take time away from school. So evenings and weekends were prime time for children's counselors. There's a large degree of personal independence, but also a lot of collaboration with coworkers, and especially this specific job because you would be working in a community center, working with a lot of other government staff. So the typical stressors that I identified in my study of this career were extensive amounts of stress. These counselors have to be able to separate their work lives and the things that they experience in their counseling sessions. They have to be able to separate those from their home life because that can become quite poisonous to family life at home. The topics that are dealt with, especially as a children's counselor, are extremely sensitive and can become very emotional. So it's important to rely on the training that you have to be able to still keep a positive attitude while dealing with these situations that can become very discouraging. These counselors have to be able to work efficiently while dealing with very sensitive topics. They have to be flexible, as I've said, as far as hours are concerned, and that can be quite stressful, especially if a counselor was a mother or a father. It would be hard because a lot of the time that your kids are home, you'd be at work working with other people's kids. The positive attitude, I think, is probably the hardest thing about this job, at least I would assume right now. I know that I don't have any experience, but I would imagine that it'd be really hard to keep a positive attitude, especially dealing with these very sensitive topics. While working with supervisors and other coworkers, these counselors have to be malleable. They have to be open to constructive criticism, and they have to be able to adjust plans or adjust methods according to the wants and needs of their supervisors and their coworkers, and also according to every unique situation. So malleability is definitely very important as far as this job is concerned. The benefits that were included for this job specifically were medical, vision, dental insurance coverage. There was life insurance included, a retirement plan, long-term disability insurance, paid sick leave, and vacation leave. And because they would be working at a government facility, a community center, they would have access to discounted childcare and a free fitness center, discounted educational programs that are provided at the community center, so that could be a benefit. The common job tasks of a child counselor include guiding children that suffer from domestic violence and emotional trauma at home. These counselors provide group counseling services, and they also provide counseling services to parents whose children are impacted. Counselors assess each individual situation, and they apply what they've learned in their training, and they apply these methods to best help the children in the situation that they're in. They aid children in coping and recovery for things such as domestic violence and emotional trauma. And according to the Fairfax County government, the counselors provide services such as crisis intervention, stabilization, and short-term treatment, with an emphasis on intervention and prevention, and appropriate referrals for continuing care. So basically, in synopsis, these counselors are working with crisis intervention. They're helping these kids that are in dire need, and they're also working as hard as they can to prevent these situations from happening and referring these children to continuing care that maybe they can't or maybe they're not capable of. So instruction from these counselors is given based on the training and previous experience that they've had. As expected, in most occupations, professionals have to attend meetings and cooperate with supervisors and other coworkers. The educational requirements include a master's degree in any field related to counseling or social work. So a master's degree in social work, master's degree in counseling. The Fairfax County prefers candidates who have significant amounts of experience in this job or in a related job that has to do with counseling or therapy of some sort. They have to be licensed by the state as a social worker, professional counselor, and or a marriage and family therapist. Along with licensure, applicants must have specialized training in treating trauma, which is one thing that I thought was interesting, not something that I was necessarily expecting, but it does make sense. The starting salary as a children's therapist or counselor varies based on experience. So on the website, on the Fairfax County website, they stated that the starting salary and ending salary could vary anywhere from about $59,000 to about $99,000. This would mean that the salary can range anywhere from $28 an hour to $48 an hour. It all just depends on your level of education and your amount of experience. Obviously, with more experience and a higher level of training and education, salary does increase significantly. I hope that this video provided sufficient information about the day in the life of a children's counselor. Thank you so much for watching.